Hello.
Can I speak to Raul Hevia, please?
Yeah, Raul speaking here.
Hey, this is Chief James of the Salem Police Department. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you for calling me back.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, I understand that there's issues with a resident in Salem. His name is Josh Thayer and Nubia Thayer,
Okay.
and there's a lot of issues there with his family, and I want to ask, there is a stalking injunction against one of his neighbors, Everson. Is that correct?
You know what? I'm not sure. I would have to check. There's been a lot of court, ongoing court cases over the last several years involving Mr. Thayer and his neighbor. That's correct.
Right. And so if there was a stalking injunction, shouldn't you know about that already?
I don't know if there's a current one, sir. I know that there's been one in the past that lapsed. I don't know if there's a current one.
Did it lapse already?
My understanding is there was one that lapsed last fall, correct?
Last fall?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. I don't know if there's a new one or not.
Okay. All right. We'd like to
So
find that out.
sir, who are you?
I am one of the we the people.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You're one of the what?
I'm just a person. I'm, just a citizen.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And so we want to find out and get to the bottom of this story because we're going to do some reporting on this. And we want to make sure that the law is being upheld by the chief of police and the policemen. And, if there's abuse there, that, it stops. Well, okay, we're looking into a lot of evidence. So, we're going to get to the bottom of this.
I actually look forward to it. I really do. But unfortunately, it's not going to look very good for Mr. Thayer.
Well, I have video here of, Everson coming onto his property and assaulting Nubia and Josh.
What's the date on that one, sir?
It happened in the last 3 days.
The last 3 days?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll have to let the courts decide.
Well,
there is an ongoing investigation on that.
An ongoing investigation. So
involving that incident you're talking about, correct?
So let me ask you then, so you're investigating this last incident of assault?
I'm telling you that there's a current investigation going on involving them two neighbors. That's correct.
And who is doing the investigation? Which officer?
The Salem Police Department.
But what officers are involved in that?
There is a couple of different officers involved.
Well, I need names and badge numbers.
Well, sir, I don't even know who you are.
Well, it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter. This is public information, and you're a public servant, and this is.
But it's an ongoing, sir. It's an ongoing investigation.
But I'm only asking for the names of the officers involved.
Well, at this point, I'm not going to give them to you, sir.
Oh, really? Okay.
Correct. I don't even know who I'm talking to.
It doesn't matter who you're talking to. I am a member of the citizenry.
And I get that, sir. I do, and I'm telling you, we have.
And I told you my name already, and that should be enough.
No, sir. So we have an ongoing investigation, and at the conclusion of that investigation, if you want to request the records, you're more than welcome to get them. But the investigation is not complete at this point.
So you're going to deny the public information of who are the officers that are involved in the investigation, right? That's what you just told me.
I'm just telling you, there's an ongoing investigation that a couple of different officers are involved. They've been called down there, and they're working a case.
Exactly. And who are the officers that have been called over there and doing the investigation is my question.
So there's a couple of different officers. There's an Officer Reynolds.
Officer Reynolds.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's an Officer Lloyd.
Officer Lloyd. Okay.
Correct. And then Officer Marbury.
Marbury.
Correct.
How do you spell that?
Marbery.
Okay, very good. All right, well, I may have further questions, but at this point, I hope that, these things get resolved and these confrontations stop.
Well, I also hope so too, sir.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like I said, it's been ongoing for a long time, and they've been in court cases for a long time, and I'd sure like to see it get resolved.
Absolutely. We need to see resolution to all these things.
Yeah, and I would definitely hope that you're going to be fair and that you would look at both sides.
Absolutely. That's the reason I'm calling you.
And look at the evidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? We're going to mediate if we need to. And, the people will mediate. And, we're not for one party or the other. But when we see this type of confrontation, we don't like it. We want people to live in peace and uphold the law.
And I do too, sir.
And, if it is Josh Thayer and Nubia are not upholding the law and they're violating law, we're not going to be friendly to them, And when I mean friendly is we're not going to vouch for them because we want peace.
And I do too.
Right.
That's ultimately my goal as a police chief.
Exactly. And we expect, the officers of the law, like the police and the sheriff to take action and do the right thing.
Yeah, and I believe we're doing that, sir.
Because those are the people that we're going to hold accountable.
I get that, and I would expect you to hold us accountable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time, and hopefully we'll see resolution to all these things.
Yeah, thank you. You have a good day, sir.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Hello, guys. Raul Hevia here with People's Rights, and I have Jared Green co-hosting with me tonight. Hey, Jared.
Hello, Utah.
All right. And then we have Josh and Nubia Thayer, and I got to say, there we go. Thank you. I met Josh and Nubia 4 months ago. We've been in communication, and I want to introduce Josh and Nubia to you. Josh, can you tell us what you do for a living?
Yes, I'm Josh Thayer. I do asbestos air quality inspections and like asbestos abatement. I own the company. I do general contracting work, a lot of demolitions work, and I have a general engineering contractor's license as well. So kind of whatever you can construction wise, we can get done for you. But
that's awesome. And Nubia, what do you do? What is your trade?
Right now, I am
an attorney.
No, I'm a school teacher, but right now I'm staying home. I'm
Awesome.
not working.
And so you guys met about 4 years ago, and you're originally from Mexico, aren't you, Nubia?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and Josh, where are you originally from?
Parowan and Torrey, Utah. It's kind of where I grew up.
Or cowboys, I understand it, right?
Yeah, here and there, rodeo.
Yeah.
With bulls here and there, yeah. Bull rider, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. So we have an interesting case here that I've been learning about and trying to piece everything together for months, really. And, Josh and Nubia had been very patient with, sending me all this information. And, it's gotten to a point where, they're just trying to live in peace. They have no peace in their home, and they live in Salem, Utah. And they've been harassed by various people, various parties. They're trying to build an awesome home in Salem, Utah, right next to the lake. And it has a lot of features where they're going to be self-sufficient, be able to produce power, water, and not have to rely so much on services, which is pretty cool. And they have building permits. They started to build their house, but they've encountered a lot of problems in the city and with some of their neighbors, and they've been fearing for their lives inclusively. And so, you know, these things are very worrying because, you know, we're supposed to be able to live not only free, but also in peace. And so there's a few things that that I have encountered along the way that has gotten my attention. And I want to show a couple of pieces of information here. So let me share my screen and share a couple of things. There was something that was sent to you, it was put in the mail not too long ago, and it was this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit about this. What is this all about?
So you want
You
so
go ahead.
we've been Nubia's been getting like rude comments quite a bit from a few different people calling her, you know, some bad names, and that's a police officer's hand. We were we were working, and Nubia went to get the mail, and she opened it, and she thought she didn't know what it was in because I guess it was wrapped up in whatever it was
Yeah,
wrapped
piece
up
of
in,
paper.
and so she called the cops. The cops come, and you know that's what the note said is you're not from here and you never will be. And prior to that, they they'd flashed they brandished a gun to Nubia.
No, it
And
was that was after.
oh,
The kind of being was the first thing.
oh,
It was.
okay, so anyhow, we'd had quite a few racial things that they were doing to us, and that was one of them.
Yeah, so
Can beans in the mailbox.
yeah, this is a can of beans, the refried beans, you know, like you're from Mexico, you're never going to be from here. So this was probably sent by one of your neighbors, maybe, huh? And so this is one of the problems you've encountered is
And
people been very unkind to you in your neighborhood. Is that right?
Yeah.
yeah, and we have a police report from one of our neighbors admitting to tell Nubia to go back to Mexico, and saying, you know, racial things to her as well. And so
He said that it's just freedom of
it's
speech.
freedom of speech.
Right. And actually, we had the consulate, Mexican consulate got involved and sent a letter to Chief James, who is the chief of police there. And, you know, the council, Jose Borjon, said, I hope this letter finds you well. It has come to my attention that a Mexican national by the name of Nubia Thayer has recently filed a complaint against her neighbors, and there's an incident report here. She claims that there have been actions that could qualify as hate speech and a incident against her, and so on and so forth. And so, so there have been police reports. The Mexican consulate got involved, and we never did see any resolution from any of this. But we're going to talk about that at another time. But here's the other thing that is just really concerning to me. And I have a couple of videos that Josh and Nubia sent to me. And I'm going to play those and let's talk about this when it comes time. Okay, so here's a next door neighbor. So tell us a little bit before we go into the video. This is your property here, correct?
Yeah.
And you have some tape and some barricades there on a property line,
Yeah.
which
So,
I'm assuming is your property line, right?
well, so if you can see to the right, on the cameras we noticed, because we had to get cameras, right? And so we noticed that people are starting to walk through the grass, and our grass has already been poisoned and killed once. So we thought we'd put some cones up, and we put some cones up, and the guy kept throwing the cones over in our yard, and we didn't want people to walk through. You can see on the right where we're working, we didn't want people to walk through the concrete. And so he kept throwing the cones over in our yard, and so we put up the caution tape with the sawhorses to hopefully prevent, you know, anything like that happening. And if you can see up to the top, you can see the snow here. He piled all of his snow on top of our mailbox, and the police told us that's where he normally puts his snow. So we was hoping to put that to stop him from putting the snow on our mailbox. And
Right.
so that's kind of why
Play
we
the video and see what's going on here. So here we go. Now, who is this gentleman? tearing off?
He's
Lane
our
Everson.
neighbor. He's our neighbor to the north of us.
That's the neighbor to the north. So he's tearing down your barricades.
But he threatened us with a gun. He's got something in his hand. He's got a gun in his hand.
And this is you coming out and just wondering what's going on, right?
Yeah. He's picking up garbage.
So he tears down the tape, he grabs the horse, throws it onto your yard, and then some more confrontation happens. Let's go to the other video.
Keep your stuff off of my property.
So he's claiming that that is his property, but clearly there's a line there, and that I'm assuming that's a dividing line between the two properties.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll go into more detail on that here a little later, but what ended up happening here was ultimately there was an assault, as I saw it.
You little liar you are?
No, I'm not a liar.
You're a liar. I got no gun in my pocket.
Get away from us.
Leave me
Please
alone.
go away.
Sure,
Go away.
I got a gun in my pocket.
What do you got? What do you got? Leave our stuff alone.
No, you need to get off my property. You're in my house. Look, I have guns. I have guns. He's a good little actor. Don't put it over here. Over here.
So right there, there's an assault right there. There's another assault.
Don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. You don't touch me. You came over and touched me. Hey, don't
There's
touch
more
me.
assault right there.
Don't touch me.
Leave us alone.
That's assault.
No,
You touch
Very belligerent neighbor, I would say. And it goes on from there. So
And I never touched the guy.
yeah, you never touched it. So Josh, the other thing that has caught my eye has been, the constant harassment of the authorities against you. And, you have a lot of video evidence. And so this video shows how the police is trying to serve you a citation for that incident that you had with Everson, where he was tearing down the tape and throwing down the horses. And the police here is coming to your home. What time of the night did this happen?
I think that was at 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Around that time.
They're coming in with flashlights, and you have sent notice to them that if they have any paperwork or citation to be served to you, that to put it on the mailbox, there is no reason for them to come knock on your door. Correct?
Yeah, and that's after I'd sent an email. So they've been there a couple times that day prior, and so I kept sending an email asking them to please just leave it in our mailbox, that they don't need to come knocking on our door and trying to disturb us, because it seems like each time they come here, it's real confrontational, and it gives us a lot of anxiety, and then there's really no reason. And we was having dinner as well, and so we just don't understand why they need to be coming 7, 8 o'clock at night all the time. And then
when we call them, when we really need them, they don't
come.
show up.
They never come when we call. So
Right. And there's another video here where earlier that day they showed up as well, and and they're carrying papers, and they're not welcome in your property anyways. So
we have no trespassing signs, and they've actually torn down the no trespassing signs before as they've come on and taken them off. And this is why we had to get cameras and start putting cameras up so we can start documenting all this stuff.
Right. And they still come to your house, and and here's another video that I saw. This happened some time ago. I'm not sure when. You can talk about that, but this video shows a confrontation between you and a police officer, and I'm just going to go ahead and show it.
You're going to sit there. He does it again. He's done it 5 times. And that was all documented. Right. Yeah, I've documented every single time. I pictured it, documented, and done everything. Right. You guys won't do anything. So
don't say I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
I've only been here once or twice.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh.
These guys.
So don't sit and tell me that we haven't done anything, because I know
Okay.
that's not the truth.
Absolutely, it's the truth.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to call you a liar because that is not the truth. We have documented things and sent those things over. Okay. To the prosecutor.
For
That
what?
doesn't mean we didn't do anything.
For what?
Okay. I don't know. I wasn't the
Why is this
officer.
camera's pointing in my
I don't know.
backyard still?
I don't know.
Because
Was that
Absolutely,
you've
yeah.
let the other officers
Yeah.
know that in the past?
Yeah.
Okay, and I was.
or you're gonna sit there. You did? That's it. I just got home from Vegas from the NFR. Some bitch is in my property, and I'm going, hey, what's going on? I have the right to know. He's like I said, he's
Oh,
got
I agree. You're
like,
exactly right on that point.
I'm just tired of it. When you guys come here, you know, you're pissed off at me. You don't even know who I am.
I'm not
And
pissed
I'm
off,
doing-
but I don't appreciate you telling me that I haven't done anything.
What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
You just told me I haven't done anything.
I said,
Help
you guys.
Okay. And you're lumping me into that same
Who do you
group.
think you are? Like, you're
You don't
really,
want
you're going up
you
to
don't
me?
even want to know. Dude.
You're going up to me and
We're
getting
done,
pissed
John.
off?
We're done. I'll document the cameras. I'll document the surveyor was on your property.
Talking to me.
I am, and it's all recorded.
I know.
Right?
You're recording it. You're
I
recording
know.
it.
So
He is recording it. Just remember, this is over 2 chickens.
it is. It's ridiculous.
All right, so you know what? This guy seems pretty belligerent to me, and not only that, but also intimidating. I mean, holy cow, he got on your face, didn't he?
Yeah, and like, he got in my face, and I feel like they want to push you and instigate you, because if you touch an officer, you're going to be in trouble, right? But then I also try and look at their aspect. They gotta, they're dealing with people all the time, and they're out on a call, and they don't know what the call's for and why this person calling, and it's just, I feel bad for the cops, but then again, I don't think that they should be in your backyard provoking you either as well. You know what I mean? There should be a limit to a situation. I mean, let's have respect for one another is how I kind of feel about it.
Absolutely. So,
And not to put somebody in that situation. You shouldn't put anybody in a situation where they're going to respond. Most people would respond, if someone's coming at them, to come at them as well. And so,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. You are just seeking peace. That's all. And to finish your home and be able to enjoy it. And I don't know how you're getting justice here. This is the reason why we wanted to come out with this story and call upon people to, talk to these authorities and tell them, hey, you know what? We don't agree with what's happening with this family, and we want you to leave them alone. That's all we're asking for, aren't we?
Please. Yeah, that's it. Just leave us alone. Stop sending the cops here. I mean, hundreds of times the cops have been here. I can show you all. Right. Grab those
Every
folders.
year we have all these is police reports.
Grab these are all police reports. Grab that black
Trying
folder
to
too.
build hell, guy. So you know what? I see a lot of aggression here. Very concerning. You're trying to build your home. You're trying to live peacefully. Why is this all happening, Josh? Explain to us why this is all happening.
Well, so I've been living here since 2008 spring of, and with my son and I'd recently gotten divorced, and we found this little home here next to the lake, and I remodeled it and fixed it up for the guy that owned it. He lived in Oregon, and in 2014, the Everson Lane, or he moved in with a different lady. He ended up getting divorced, and he met this new lady, and our home, the homeowner's wife, I guess, was having some medical problems. So they asked me if I'd like to buy the home. I told them that I would. And I kind of told a few people, I guess I shouldn't have told, that we was going to buy the home. And it got out around town. And then next thing you know, everybody's going to kick me and my son out of our house and buy our house. And everybody's coming and taking pictures of the property and, doing whatever they can to get us out of here. And so the neighbor, her her brother is mayor of the town over, offered more money than what we did, I guess, and our back and ended up paying the guy. And so we had to go to court. We ended up winning the home, my son and I, in the court systems. So we was able to stay here. And then
Because
had to
you have
return their
rights
money.
that-
they had to return their money back. And then the next thing you know, we had a ticket for having chickens on our yard.
you had
And then we was in
right
court for
of
11 months over.
refusal. That's why you were able to buy the home, and you know he should have offered it to you first, right?
Yeah. So as us with being here, we get a first right of refusal. And if we couldn't have buy the home, you know, then of course they probably could have found a way to kick us out. Yeah, but with that, you know, and they spent 6 months serving us, you know, eviction notices, you know, in front of my friends. They'd leave them, you know, on our cars with my son around, you know, just doing everything you can to cause a confrontational situation, to make it uncomfortable for us to not want to be here.
So there's also a dispute about boundary lines. They have been changing boundary lines since you know you've been explaining that to me. Can you show us how that has come about and how it's happened? So go ahead and share your screen and show us the documents that you have and all the maps and whatnot, so that people can understand what's going on.
Give us a ticket for having a lot too small to have chickens, my son and I, and we had 2 chickens, 2 hen chickens. And so we found out that the prior owner, there's a story that he'd sold this property to the city, this section right here, back in the 40s. And
those 2 black lines that I'm seeing there.
Yeah, he sold that section to the city so they could so he could write some books that he wrote. And the city, they was going to do a pathway through there. And so the prior owner, you know, had he always took care of it, but was under the understanding that the city had owned the property. And so when he sold the home to the Eversons, he had them sign an agreement and put on their deed, you know, that they wouldn't, that the boundaries were a little bit different here. And so, you know, that he agreed not to do anything when he moved here.
So this is how
And so we tried to go buy the property. They say that they found out on accident that this line right here was entered as a wrong degree. It is 62-degree angle and it's supposed to be a 32-degree angle. So then they took a special warranty deed, which is supposed to be a corrective warranty deed, and they changed the boundary line and they adjusted the boundary line, and then they moved it over to our property 18 inches so he could file a lawsuit against us. And so this shows the gap that they created. So right here, they took away the 3 sections of property, and then they created a gap on the north side. Well, they created a gap right here, and then so now this gap comes over onto our property. And it's called the GIS system that they use. So right here, we noticed, you know, we was looking through here. So this would be the Hall's house right here, and it comes over to here, and here's our properties right through here, the 3 parcels, and then and Everson's. We noticed that the Hall's property, this section here, in 1976 is here, and when they changed ours, here's the Hall's house here, right here. And so this is the Hall's property boundary line right here. And so it shows that the Hall's property comes over into Lane Everson's house right here, actually on record. On land, it looks different. There's a fence through here. And so all the blocks,
boundary line right on the home.
Yeah, his boundary line is right on his house.
That's how I don't understand that. How is that possible?
It's
it's possible.
Yeah, it's just old records being recorded and how things are done. How do I go to? And here I'll show you bigger. So so this is what the actual boundary line is, right? But on county record, here's what it looks like. This is how they have it recorded on county record, but this is what it actually is on their deed. So there's three, do you understand that? So this is county record, and then this is what it looks like recorded on their actual deed, but then there's what it looks like on land. So there's three different representations of what the boundaries look like.
Those are all discrepancies, aren't they?
Yeah, all three of them,
You
yeah,
want to open county records, the parcels?
not yet. So right here, now that they've changed everything, this is the Hall's property. So here's the line that shows the Halls extends over to here, but now they've created a gap here. So these two lines should be touching right here, but they've created this gap right here. And so now this gap extends over onto our property.
And it's pushing everything.
And so they created, it's called a no man's land, is what she calls the secretary's people call it. How do we go back to?
No man's land. How convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that no man's land allow these people to take us to court for.
Go back to the pictures.
How much is they are saying?
So it's the Eversons that are taking you to court.
Yes, that's it. And yeah, and oops, okay. And so they've changed everything. They've created that gap. And once they created that gap, it made this red dot right here. Right here. It's called GIS system. So they can go in, they can punch in the coordinates and they can move these right here, right? Every one of these. And so they moved this one right here, the 18 inches over here, and then they created this gap over here, right here.
Well, they really encroach on your piece of land, really. That's what they've done.
Oh yeah, and saying
they're
saying that we're encroaching on theirs on court records, right? And then so they're oops. So right here, when we first bought the home, you can see in September 8th, 2015. Well, that's right after we bought the home, right? We had our survey, and we already had a survey, and our boundary lines were just barely on the where does it show? Our boundary line was just barely on the north side of the hedge, of our hedge that's here. And so the hedge kind of runs a little bit of an angle. So by the time it was down here, it was in the center of the hedge. And by the time up here, it was on the north side. And so now it's 18 inches on the south side, but we'd already had a survey.
Five surveyors.
We've had 5 different surveys. They've had 5 different surveys now. But he says here, and he states in a deposition that he understood and that Lane understood that the city owned the property between he and I, and that he had just maintained it for the city the entire time that he lived there, knowing that the city had owned it. And so we have all the depositions from it, proving that the city owned this property between us.
Also, the police report where the police said that
show the police report.
It was.
You just click out of that. Okay, so here, this is our second survey. So we've had the first survey, and see this knot right here? That's where our first survey marker was.
Found 2 by 2.
And this is
original.
What, 2 by 2, the origin unknown. And this is when the city come. I went to go buy the property from the city. The city come and said, hey, this is where the boundary line is. And that's where they first time told Lane where it was. So then they changed it. So here's the sidewalk. This is the city sidewalk right here. These are all the original markers, from the time that they put the markers in the ground, I guess, the survey markers. And so now that they've changed it, this is the new line. So now they're saying that the city owns from here over to here, all the way down these front. This is all people's houses right through here.
I sent you the.
And then not only on yours, but also on
everybody's. Yep, everybody's. But they're only enforcing ours. And so this is our hedge goes through here, and that was planted in 1963. And this is the original marker right here that they put, and our surveyor put the coordinates in where he found the cap right here, and here's another one here. So going here, here, all the way across. It goes all the way to the lake like that. And so now they moved it, this 18 inches, that red dot I was telling you about, you know, and moved it over and down. And so they created right here, we get a ticket for anything. And right here,
If you park your car there, you're going to get a ticket, huh?
yeah, oh yeah, we got, yeah.
Oh my
we get
gosh.
tickets for everything.
What if the neighbor parks his car in front of his house where you know, there's city property?
He has his car parked there, and he had his RV home parked there for 2+ years, right here, right in front of their house for 2+ years. If we park anything here, we get tickets.
Oh my goodness.
Here,
And
the
they also closed access to the lake from your property, which, you know, your property borders on the lake, doesn't it?
yeah,
Was also.
they didn't like our chickens. They said that our chickens kept going and pooping in their yard, and there was 2 hen chickens, and during the time, to keep the ducks and the chickens from going in their yard, we put up a fence. And so I went and asked the city if I could put a fence up, thinking it was city property, understanding. And we spoke to the police officer. The police officer researched it, and he determined the fence is on city property. So they understood it was city property. They researched it and found out that it was. And that's the section between our homes that now they're claiming, you know, they changed the degree and now it's over onto our property. And so, you know, who changed it, and why did it get changed, and how come we didn't get notified, and how come we don't get to have a say in anything? And
What year would it have been changed, Josh?
2016. We think.
Oops.
16. Why you close it?
So I'm sharing my screen now, and I have a photo here of the lake, and this is the back of your property, right? But you have no access. They have closed access to the lake for you, but everybody else does have access to the lake, but you. Is that
correct? Yeah. We just want to show the picture of
what?
So Josh, let me have you share your screen again. Go ahead and share your screen. And so there's another part of the story that I want you to touch on as well. Why do they want your property? Why are they harassing you so much?
Well, because they lost the court case. You know, the neighbors did. They lost their court case when they took it. So it's kind of been a retaliation since then. And then it's just, I haven't left, you know, and I've been here 7 years since then, you know, and we're buried we're in our RV and invested all of our money in our home and in attorney fees. That's what we pay for, is attorney fees, basically. and trying to,
freedom is not free.
Yeah, you know, and she'd been here for 4 years, so for her representation, if that's what it's like here, is just it's saddening. It's so disappointing to see individuals act that way.
And people die or come to America.
Yeah.
Cannot understand.
And you've had your transmission lines drilled open, TVs, windows.
Yeah.
Our cars are all scratched because every time she come over with her dogs and walk her dogs, she always scratch our cars, smash our plants, turn on the water, like stupid things.
Well, the transmission line is quite deliberate.
Oh yeah, and you can see the drill hole. You saw the picture of that, and it just, everything's deliberate. Everything is deliberate to make our life,
to make us feel tired,
uncomfortable. And if you listen to
automobile transmission line, your car, they drilled it with holes and all the liquid, all transmission fluid fell out, right?
Yeah, and I think they thought it was probably the brake line is what they was thinking, but so it didn't, you know, it didn't work for them.
Your life, you know, just gee, we want peace, right? We want peace. That's all we're asking for.
Absolutely. Just there's no reason for it other than the fact that, you know, they're trying to push us out of here. They have an agenda of getting our property and having their little family, you know, brother and sister.
Okay, so there's one more incident that happened, and they did raid your house and stole your guns, didn't they?
Yeah, Yeah, they made up a BB gun saying another BB gun incident. We've been to court about that before, and the judge found that they was filing false police reports about us shooting BB guns, and he told them to knock it off, that they were stalking us, so they were actually stalking. And one thing to point out is Nubia has a stalking injunction against him.
Right. She has a stalking injunction against Everson.
Yeah, and the cops won't enforce it, at all.
They just pretend that they don't know anything about it.
We had Christmas music playing all 30 days nonstop, all day, all night. But with our home, our RV home, I should say, because we're not in our home, we're living in our RV home for the third winter now, because they've shut our job down 3 times.
This was the second. This is the second winter.
And they anyhow,
you have an awesome house.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Built. You have an awesome, cool off the grid pad.
Yeah, and our design and the way it is kind of to hopefully block them people out of our lives so we can enjoy our lives. Like, we don't want confrontation, we don't want to fight, we just want to be able to fish in our backyard and have our friends over. Like, our friends don't feel comfortable coming here. The cops might come here and cause a problem, so we're here alone in our RV. But with our home, they come and they raided our house, our RV home. Our neighbor said that I was out shooting her with a BB gun, and they found a BB
with a BB gun.
And so then the cops come here, and I have a medical marijuana card, and they said that they could smell marijuana. And so I told them I would go get it for them, and they blocked off our trailer, and they detained my wife and I, and they wouldn't let us back in our home
without a warrant.
And then they started going through our house, and they took a couple 22s and 30-30, and they put the charges that she has marijuana. She never even used it. I mean, I used it because I got hurt. I didn't want to take pain medication or anything like that, and the doctor recommended it, so that's what I tried. And
for bull riding, right?
Yeah, and I broke a whole bunch of ribs like 5 years ago at a PBR in Estes Park, and it helped loosen. It helped my body, my muscles loosen up in my chest to where I could actually move around. And so, I had a hard time with it at first, and then a few things I've learned about it, and read that mentally I'm not as bad about it, but they knew about it. They understood, that I had that card, and they knew that I had the weapons in here. And we had the immigration after the chief of police wanted to find out what he's going to do to help her. And so he come here, they raided our home, they took my guns, they put the charges and the ticket in her name. And then he called the embassy, we're drug dealers, and then we're transporting drugs from Colorado to Utah and storing it in this RV trailer. And so then the Mexican embassy dumps us, right? They won't talk to us anymore.
Yeah, they stopped.
And now we're in court with that. She has six felony charges for the for the weapons, including BB guns and slingshots, like a slingshot. And I have the same charges as well, but
22
it won't pan out.
And
what was that?
22 caliber rifles and slingshot.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, and pistol. Yeah, pistol. And the largest caliber was a 30-30 Winchester. That was my grandpa's. Yeah, no family heirloom.
Rifle, right?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, I mean, legally robbed me. Robbed us. So that's,
but we're gonna have our opportunity this 11th
in court.
Yeah, to
another court date. But for 7 years, I don't know how many court dates we've had. It's been probably 50. I mean, literally 50 court dates we've appeared for, and hundreds of police visits. I mean, these are all police reports, and I've been everything's been dismissed. I mean, we went to court over the chickens. That was the jury trial that we had, and that was dismissed. Everything else, it's dismissed. So yeah,
you're a hardcore criminal, huh?
Yeah. And it's only been for the last 7 years since this property's come up for sale. Now I'm a 42-year-old career criminal. Now I've got all my licenses. I've worked my whole life to develop everything that I want. Now I'm going to start being a childlike teenager career criminal, shooting people with BB guns and in slingshots. Come on. Why I'm building my house, right? And I just got married to live in an RV, and I don't even speak Spanish. And she does. You know, it's like, come on, I have time to be doing all that kind of stuff. You know, and I had my son here. My son won't even come to Salem. He thinks we're drug dealers and we're bad people because the cops are coming here, right? And saying those things. So our relationship with my son, they completely affected and hurt, you know, all gossip and lies. So
Do you want to bring in the ex-wife cop relation? Part of the narrative.
oh yeah,
No.
I mean, it don't bother me. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's in 2013. That's when, you know, that officer moved here and started working here. I went and filed a complaint against him, telling the chief of police that I didn't want the officer around because he was the relations he had with my ex-wife and their friends and the other officer that she had an affair with, and they were here to, you know, they were affecting my son's life, and I had custody of him, and you know, she was paying me child support, and so with the combination of the police officers having an affair with her, and then the mayor Brent York wanting our property, they're just thinking, hey, we'll get this dumb redneck hillbilly out of here who ain't got nothing, because I was living in this little white house with him, right? So they assume, and so here I am 7 years later. I got that house halfway built, been to jail 3 times. They ran my son out of here, you know, raided us, hundreds of police visits, but
Violated all our
Tracy, why did
civil
you
rights.
move? Why did
everything.
you move?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Well, for one thing, we've invested all of our money in here, and our neighbors, they illegally put their name on our property. They put a list pendants on it. And so if we sell it, we have to sell it to either them, because they'll have first right of refusal, or we have to take them to court and get their name off of our property again. And so, you know, it's just more of an investment in money for us to do.
Explain why you
Another
can
lawsuit.
file these pennies.
Why?
Uh-huh.
If someone has a lawsuit
Or
or
dispute.
a dispute over a boundary line or over that property line, you can file
Well-
this pendants. There's no dispute or anything over our property.
Our properties,
Our
no.
boundary line is
Right.
over.
There.
It was over the city boundary line that they gave to them, and they changed. That's the discrepancy. And so, yeah, so they put a list pendants on our property illegally, you know, but everything they done has been illegally. It's just paperwork for us to go for the courts, as the chief says. We'll let the courts figure it out.
Es una carrera de resistencia. A ver quién aguanta más.
Right. I understood that. That's my first line.
Yeah,
So-
police chiefs are just mercenary tools for the corrupt city council and mayor. All of them are.
Right.
In fact, show me the exception. They deliberately keep themselves ignorant so they don't have to face their conscience and honor their oath and do their real job.
Yeah, they're gonna honor it. They're gonna honor it.
Well, I appreciate the time and you know, you guys appearing here and telling your story. And Jared, do you have any closing words?
They keep taking people one at a time, Raul. Utah County Sheriff stole Cromar's house for the second time. No trial, no hearing. Utah County's full of organized crime, and it's really the same everywhere.
Mhm.
People compartmentalize their conscience so they don't have to face it. They remain ignorant so they don't have to face their conscience and do something about it. Our whole society is corrupt.
Well, and for me, I've never even been into cared or wanted to do anything with politics, right? I never worried about it. And for me, for what I've seen going on now for my last 7 years of my life experience with these people, you know, I've learned a lot about the government and what's going on, and hopefully how to help make some changes about it and do things differently. That's all it needs to happen, is people need to do things differently.
The people have to care, Josh.
Yep, the
The
people
people have to care.
Yep.
They have to hold their servants accountable and get rid of the bad ones.
Yeah.
They have to care one at a
And-
time. They'll take
And
us
you
home.
don't care until you experience yourself, right? And then,
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So there you go, guys. We're going to wrap it up. I appreciate everything. Do everything you can. You know, it is the duty of free people to defend their neighbors' rights. Remember that. And use, claim, and defend. Text the word rights to 80123 and unite with your neighbors against the tyranny. That's what we're asking for.
And we want to make a point that we do not want anybody injured or hurt or anything. We want everything to be a peaceful solution for everything. You know, I mean, that's, you know, the courts to handle what the courts need to handle, and then us people just be polite and kind and respectful.
Yeah, well, how convenient. The courts are closed because of the psychological operation called COVID-19. The cops don't even pretend they're going to take you to court. They just take you to jail. They take your money. They make you pay an attorney. The attorney pays them, and it's all one big pile of lies.
It is, and it sucks. Especially it's, you know, stuck. It's like having a blanket, you know, stuck over you, and you can't get out of this blanket. You're like, you just want to get some light.
Yeah, they're criminals. They're criminals.
It's horrible. And for the people that, you know, I can imagine, you know, the people, if you're in jail over something like that, you know, some guys got you in jail, stole your property, and you're sitting there like, oh, that'd be awful.
car, he rips it down. He does it again. He's done it 5 times.
And that was all documented, right?
Yeah, I've documented
Right,
every single
right,
time. I
right.
pictured it, documented, and done everything.
Right.
You guys won't do anything. So,
Okay, well,
it's
don't say I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
because
well,
I've
these
only been here
guys-
once or twice.
Yeah,
Okay, Josh.
these guys.
So don't sit and tell me that we haven't done anything, because I know
Okay.
that's not the truth.
Absolutely, it's the truth.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to
Absolutely.
call you a liar because that is not the truth.
What if-
We have documented things and sent those things over
Okay.
to the prosecutor.
For
that
what?
doesn't mean we didn't do anything.
For what?
Okay. I don't know. I wasn't the
Why is
officer.
his cameras pointing in my
I don't know.
backyard still?
I don't know.
Because
was that
absolutely,
you've
yeah.
let let the other officers
Yep.
know that in the past?
Yep.
Okay, and I wasn't here, so I
You're
don't
the,
know
you're
what
the
was happening.
third or the fourth officer that
Probably
I've told
so.
that.
Okay.
And I'm going, hey, why are you guys here harassing me? And I'm going, he's obviously harassing me. I just want to be left alone.
I understand that.
That's it. I just got home from
And
Vegas from the NFR.
Sure.
Some bitch is in my property, and I'm going, hey, what's going on? I have the right to know. He's like I said, he's
No,
got
I agree. You're
like,
exactly right on that point.
I'm just tired of it. Man. You guys come here, you're pissed off at me. You don't even know who I am.
I'm not
And
pissed
I'm
off, but
going-
I don't appreciate you telling me that I haven't done anything.
What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
You just told me I haven't done anything.
I said
to help
you guys. You guys.
Okay. And
I
you're
don't-
lumping me into that same
Who do you
group.
think you are? Like you're
You don't
blowing up
you
to
don't
me.
even want to know, dude.
You're blowing up to me and
We're
getting
done,
pissed off.
Yeah, I'll document the cameras. I'll document the surveyor was
Just
on your
remember how
property.
you're talking to me.
I am, and it's all recorded,
I know.
right?
I'm recording it. You're
I
recording
know.
it.
So
He's recording it.
Yeah.
Just remember, this is over 2 chickens.
it is. It's ridiculous.